identity, assuming an identity being the first principle to pay attention to as you proceed in this beautiful journey of life, which you want to have a full spectrum experience in, which we want to have a full spectrum experience in, right? So let's just open-mindedly talk about how we can have the most authentic full spectrum experience. I don't think any of us, and I'm your fellow journeyman here, I'm not a teacher, I'm just getting pushed around the block like everybody else, right? The path to enlightenment illuminates as we walk it. The only identity or commitment that we should have is to goodness, to doing the right thing, and to telling the truth. If we can proceed this way, logically, we're deserving of the other commitments in this life on the other side, right? True respect, true admiration, true relationships. It takes one to know one joinings of other hardcore truth people, bright people, let's just say, that can discern and see clearly and move like a Jedi, let's just say, right? That would be ideal, wouldn't it? All right, so how do we get there? Self-development, dedicated self-development. Being able to at least find those incredible old schoolers, which now we can do right on YouTube. And here's two of them, linked below, that we're gonna JP reacts to Chase Hughes. And then when you look at the life of Chase Hughes and what it's turned into, you start to recognize, oh, wow, because he had such a valid, valiant purpose of exposing deception and gaining truth. And we're going to talk about that. Identity being the principal thing. What you identify with should not have been defined by any other thing out there. We know this now. Who you are should not be defined by rap music, Hot Topic, you know, all the blue-haired people you see in the news. If you can find your own individuality, and this will happen through adventure, that's what you're not going to hear in other places. Your experiential diversity, the chapters in your book amount to who you come across to be. Now, pinnacly, because a thief can have tons of chapters, right? And he'll be taking all kinds of different things from each experience point that an honest, valiant person could follow in those exact adventurous footsteps, being an honest, valiant person, and have a completely different experience with completely different takeaways, which come together. Like I said, your scars are your bars, your seniority is your experiential diversity. So what you come away with now becomes what you radiate. And this is true for the thief and for the valiant cat, who eventually, if he does so many things, I would venture to say Candace Owens and Chase Hughes and JP Reacts, they'll walk into a room and immediately people who are shady know, and immediately other diamonds, they know too. Everybody knows. We have this thing called intuition. Honestly, you can't avoid it. I used to say, all you got to be is a cultivator, not a control freak. Cultivate within yourself and cultivate around you. A cultivator, not a control freak. People who are running with me, they want to run with me. They'll jump, they'll get into it on my, you know what I mean? Everybody's got for me, I hold my standards very high for who I'm around. Very, very high. We all are very respectful of each other, and we all have each other's backs. I really don't want to run with any other guys, and that makes a hard formation for these days, right? but incredibly is very doable. And that's a great challenge. All challenges, opportunities to build strength. So a lot of people out here in the world right now are trying to avoid challenge. Some of us are now learning and aware of what really builds strength inside of us. So we do something that scares us every single day on purpose. Whether there's something that we need that is naturally just there scary or whatever. We are training all day, all night. It's flow state to flow state productivity. We're doing what we're doing, and in our day, what the distracted people who go out and do the beers and watch the Netflix and you know what I mean, disrespect the Great Spirit, throwing their time away like that, hang out with BS people, having BS conversations. I've watched them go down where it's just like, dude, you're not even listening to him and he's not even listening to you, and you guys are just continuously talking, literally to hear the sound of your own voices and to just move the gerbil wheel at this table that's been, right? So PSYOP awareness, as JP reacts, really buckles down on is number one, especially right now in such a psi-operable point in history. You know, that this will have propaganda museums about it at some point. You know, how the control freaks all consolidated ownership in media, and there's this crazy influencers being compromised. That's what they're talking about in this video right now. But let's just really triple down on the basics here. What do you identify as? Is it a Republican or a Democrat? You know, as Jesse Ventura writes in his book title. You know, this has all really kind of been known for a long time. My friends want to talk about politics, but what levers are we going to pull other than helping people to understand some of the deceptions with ill intentions behind them, and how all of this works together, and how our compliance, our complacency in the face of ill intention and execution that is highly damaging. And we can talk about this all the way to the biological growth sense of they're happily putting this new frame up. This is the War Department. We do the war stuff, right? Humanity could, interestingly, have an ecological department, or a life department, Department of Life, Eco Force. And we could build big machines and tend to the ecology and tend to nature and make bioenergy centers where compost drives energy production. And nature jabs plastoline centers everywhere. And the long time tested solar and wind and small hydro generation, because our little situation is sustainable. It's not this huge, overly insane cancer patch. It's a sustainable, no harm done to the ecology. In fact, because of the form, how we do it is who you are, just the letters change, right? And in humanity's case, because if we change the form of which we do things, then they could be ecological enhancements rather than ecological dehancements, destructions. What we're dealing with right now is we've got all the billions of dollars in the war thing, where we could have really provided an alternative agenda, and a lot of those people could be trained in that agenda and could find peace in that agenda, and we would get a cognitive raise across all consciousness collectively, because we would be adapting to this more complex system instead of this simple system being shoved down our throat, this simple diet. Oh, we're tuning the food pyramid upside down. Great. How about you get rid of that and take on the natural diet you see and every other mammal out here, omnivore, carnivore, whatever. Every instruction book is right here. And are we doing that? You know, but we know better. And down here in the jungle where I come to you from, the magical mountains of Panama at this point, but we exist between Central and South America. That's the revolution, ladies and gentlemen, the Latin American Railroad down to the purification zone. All these kind of awarenesses and understandings can be highly advantageous to the Jedi of life, right? To our Jedi Council, right? But this is all analytical. I'm talking biology, but this is all analytical, right? Because if we can identify the problems in culture, the misdirections in culture, just like that food pyramid, just like the agricultural practice I was mentioning, if we can find that, oh wow, look at this dispensation of, all these sick people, or the commanders and chiefs of even the art world and our motivational culture, right? And then we can see that, it is identity. You definitely just don't want to identify anymore with too much of anybody for a minute, right? Not even your mother, not even, stop taking on handed identities that were programmed by a man or a woman. Take the time. Yeah, this is a Beyond Psychology channel. I'm going to mention this other podcast that just dropped, the Sean Ryan podcast with the priest, and how the evil agenda, always through deception, is just to see you fall, and how we're really truly in a spiritual warfare. And it really, really breaks it down quite well. And again, all kinds of people, even science, has linked quantum physics is a complete explanation of spiritual physics already. But we're constantly in denial of truth. We can be in hardcore denial of truth. That's what I see. They've successfully, with the influencer, with the so they try to buy you, right? First they just propagandize you. I mean, if you're willing to take on the identity, they've got you. There's nothing else needed. And they'll accomplish that through any means necessary. And then if that doesn't work, then they'll buy you, right? And if they're supporting my cause, I'll support theirs. Oh, all right. Absent-mindedly, cognitive dissonantly from the real truth, but that I still know. So whatever cognitive dissonance you can be aware of, just delete that. Whatever justification for something that is not right or is not true, delete that. If you're aware of it, right? Because if we don't know, so please tell me if I'm wrong somewhere. I told my friend is like very, very respectfully giving me a hard truth that I needed to hear. He said, don't talk about this no more in your videos. I've heard it from all my friends, everybody. All right, I'm done. I carve it out. I do what I need to do. I don't identify anymore the way I used to identify myself. In fact, that's a daily. I'm renewing daily now. I'm at light speed. I recommend this to everyone. The first thing I did last night before I went to bed is shot myself. And then the first thing I did when I woke up this morning is shot myself. You're learning. You're in a positive, growth-oriented place. You're blessed. And all that other stuff does not matter. anymore. You let it go. You release it into the world because you're a free, live and let live person, and you just want you're a winner that wants everybody else to win, and you want them to be free, number one, and you want them to actually express who they truly are. That's my intention for everybody. That's Chase Hughes' intention. That's JP's. There's a lot of, that's cancer. There's a lot of valiant people out here, and it's very interesting that we're all, Maddie, Anti-Alienation Project, we're all recognizing right away. See, us who have been up close to the deceivers, the producers of these mass identities everywhere that people are signing up to, when we've had up close experience with these people, or in Chase Hughes' case, when we've done the work and wrote the books on PSYOP and been obsessed for 20 years, such a valiant pursuit. There's so many of that. There's so much of that. I mean, really, honestly, Chase Hughes and Candace Owens for president, because we don't want to be deceived. We don't want to be misled into ill-intended conflicts. Right? You know, so I saw where I can kind of jump in to my small audience. That's another thing. Guys, you want to find a small audience person. JP Speaks. I found this guy, he's specifically because he's a smaller guy. That's what we need to do right now. I need to do right now. That's what I need to do right now. I know that because I live clean, I live clear, I take no-brainer, brain power, hormonal supplements that help. I put the links below. You can get these right now. Ashwagandha, black pepper mix. All right. The CoQ10. These are the main ones I say everybody's got to get right here. I'm trying to get, my dad to take them. All right. We've got a really great watermelon pre-workout I took just before I made this video. It does help with focus and everything. We've got this premium mushroom blend. This stuff is good. It's no-brainer stuff. It's been good for a long time. Creatine, monohydrate, magnesium, glycinate. Taking magnesium is wonder help, right? Brain support complex. And this thing works, man. I've been taking these every day. It takes about 6 days, and then you really... It was interesting for me, man, because I do this nutritionaldiversity.com diet thing already, and to add in things to the stack and find an increase is really a fun thing now. It was something that was happening left and right when I first started finding out what everything was and all these new species, and start ordering, working with stuff and souping it up with this super abono, all natural plant food. Right? Because there's a process. And once you understand the fullness, the full spectrum, holistic process, oh man, now you're living life. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen, loved ones? Now you're living life. Okay, the worst thing that can happen to you in this slave game is for you to become a slave master. The worst thing that can happen in this deceptive PSYOP game is for you to become a deceptive, manipulative control freak yourself. That's the worst thing that can happen to you, because we've got a lot of words: psychopath, narcissist, Erica Kirk, Amber Heard, mouth sounds, mouth service. That's what that is. Narcissist, psychopath, anti-narcissism.org. All these links below, by the way, for a full architectural. And that's so necessary. That is what you would want the president to have. That is what you want to be able to trust your teammates to have. Back when I was growing up, everything was so pressurized. You couldn't, if you let somebody in and there were a bunch of problems, I still feel guilty about some people that I failed to identify correctly. I'm so blessed that I was with such great cowboy cats, you know, and I'm watching my other cowboy cats in the morning mastermind, Epic Dawn Mastermind. There's links for that too. We are here to help you. We don't need anything. The only price of admission is an early morning wake up, and all we do is study the greats and sharpen the blade, right? And when you do that every single day, early, and you pay the price to, you know, you pay the cost to be the boss, then you start to, it really starts to add up onto you, and you start to cut through life, you know. And this is why I can't tell you enough. Like, never mind the advertisers, never mind the Netflix, never mind the bar, never mind the other dum-dums. Because in a couple of years, if you say just never mind all that stuff, if you discern out all that stuff, my friend, God rest his soul, Robert James Allen, he told me I saved his life at one point, and I loved this guy. He was a beautiful soul, and I know he went to a good place. He was another one that touched me from the other side, believe it or not. I don't know, I could feel him smiling right at me saying I made it. And it was so real. It was more real than this real. Those kind of, and I want you to get there too, but you're not going to be able to have experiences like this if you're in muddy waters. You got to be completely clean, away from all the most murky thing is living a deception. Oh, the only murkier thing, which is like, that's what I'm saying. They want you to become an NPC or an NPD. So either a robot flying monkey who believes and serves lies, serves the control freaks at whatever place in the completely rancid structure of that dark side of the spectrum, or they want you to be one of the key pieces that has several flying monkeys below them, all in service to selfishness, dishonesty. You know, I totally believe in the devil. I can hear them laughing in the wind. Look at your humans, God, these screw each other people over, you know, use their kids for money, greasy, alcoholic, drug addicted, you know, abusive to each other. You know, they're right about ready to eat each other. This is, as the priest on the Sean Ryan show says, he says, this is the most debaucherous, toxic time we've ever had in history, probably since Babylon. But, or whatever, you know, watch the episode. I'll find the link and put it below. I've referenced it enough, you know. So Sean Ryan, JP Reacts, Maddie Anti-Alienation Project, Candace Owens. I can tell you right now, takes one to know one. These people can see right through to the point where they've got to stand up and say their little piece, right? You know, for hopefully to be one of these little fishes in the net listening to Nemo. There's a Finding Nemo scene where all these fishes they get caught in this net. They're all going crazy, fighting each other. And Nemo's outside the net. He's like, it's just everybody swim with me. Swim. 1, 2, 1, 2. Point it down. Everybody listens. They start doing it, and they take the net right out of the guy's hand. Like, what the hell? You can't be captured, trapped, and robbed of your adventure experience. You can't. There's a way out. There's a way out. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take intelligence. It's going to take massive amounts of study and self-reflection and self-inventory. Once again, what identities did I take on? What information, what conflicts that are not mine? What information, what anger shouldn't even be here? What imaginary evils, what fears can I start facing down one by one? Let me inventory. This is serious. There's nothing more serious. And there's no more, there's insane potential out here in the world, and we're going to see it one step at a time. Path illuminates as you walk it. So, like once I say, you know, the only identity you really want to grab is do the right thing, tell the truth. Because once you step outside of that, or once you emotionally involve yourself with someone else doing that, with some other ripple effect of not telling the truth and not doing the right thing, if you become attached to that, you've been distracted. You've been deceived out of your destiny path. Get back to that path. Never mind identity. If there's not levers to pull in it, categorize it that way. There's no levers that I can pull in it. I'm really best to spend my emotional intelligence, my emotional energy, everything. I'm better to redirect into what's actually going to benefit my life, to where I can have more say in these other issues. What kinds of innovations, not just speech, but creations, can I come up with and donate to the world's bigger challenges? Oh yeah, forget about it. Everyone's gonna be your hater. All these little fear obstacles that you could come up with, just go ahead and pass those up. You know, get yourself some good nutrition, get yourself a good routine to where you're building this momentous energy. Study psyop detection every single day. Subscribe this channel, subscribe to the other channels. Feed yourself this stuff, because the worst thing that can happen to you is you be taken off your destiny path, and the best thing that could happen to you is you become someone who can lead others through the fog. Because man, there's a bunch of fog, and again, all they got to do is confuse you and distract you and keep you from your own adventure. Adventure is your life. Those chapters of adventure to new places, new people, those are new cognitions, and you don't want to be missing them. And those are, so many of those new cognitions are needed for you to become who you're supposed to be. You don't know who that is yet. You're not gonna know who that is. Maybe in so many ways, 4x of age, whatever. I look like I'm 3x of age though, right? Mind over matter, mental toughness, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going to take you to the gym. And no, I do not inject health. I don't recommend injecting health outside of stem cell technology and some other things, but all this everyday peptide shooting, all this stuff, dude, that is so dangerous. You guys don't even realize the mold and things that can. So, but anyway, the contaminations. Hey, if China wants to take away all our tough guys in one shot, right? The strongest hand in this whole game. Dear Lord, we love you. In the name of Jesus Christ, we're always thinking of you. Your beautiful story and how much you've affected so many people in such a great way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we love you, we love you. And we will further communicate this with our actions moving forward on this beautiful journey. Amen. All right, let's go. Let's go forward strong. As a cultivator, we came here to get strong and then be cultivators, not control freaks.